going.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here for the Formula USA Round 5 from Laguna Seca. I predict a lot of cars will probably not make it to the end of this race. Just throwing that out there. Laguna Seca eats up cars. With me on commentary is Cole McRae, who you have already heard. And also joining us is Matthew Little Higgs.
Hi.
What alias are you going by today, Matt?
Just Matt.
Just Matt.
Wow.
He's either that or he's getting the one I gave him.
You should go with that one.
I don't like any names. Names are stupid.
Oh, are you free inhabitant?
I don't even know where. I don't even know where this is going.
Especially somebody who doesn't identify with living in a country.
Have you not seen any of those videos of like police officers pulling over people and then people trying to claim that laws don't apply to them because
those are fucking stupid. That's absolutely
no,
retarded.
they're revolutionary, Mike. You don't understand.
How are they revolutionary? They're using the roads that the American government upholds.
You've seen that video where that lady gets pulled out of the car by the cop and she's like, "You're raping me."
Yes, that's the best one. I love it.
That is absolutely ridiculous. People like to post that stuff. Like, you get that like with Second Amendment rights and stuff, like freedom to bear arms. It's like a dude walking around with a fucking assault rifle.
Yeah.
Or what people would call an assault rifle. I know it doesn't really have much of a definition. And then when the cops show up, they're like quoting their rights. I'm like, Jesus Christ, if you were a black man, you'd be getting beaten the shit out of right now. I just don't even know what to tell you.
Also,
anyways,
because the free inhabitant principle relies on the Articles of Confederation, which was abolished by the Constitution, but no one talks about that.
Anyways, we have our qualifying results here, or at least very close to it. We got Christoph Verstappen up front, followed by the UPS crew of Moly Moly and Max Simons. We got Enrique Hervas, Javier Perez-Torres, James Butler, John Barker, Zach Hemstrom, Daniel Hernandez, Steve Carman, and I didn't get to the rest of those, unfortunately.
We don't have an Australian.
It probably wasn't important.
I think we only have two teams on the grid today. I think it's just Cobalt and UPS. No, I see a bot car. There is one. Okay, so we still got that team present. This is our ESR Teams series, which is a little bit difficult to do commentary on because of the broken timing, which unfortunately, despite the fact that was supposedly going to get fixed this patch, that didn't happen. So we're still glitchy. And there's a lot of UPS cars and a lot of Cobalt cars, so this might be a little bit confusing. But
hooray for confusion!
We will do our best to parse through the confusion and give you a general idea of what's going on. All right, here we go.
All right,
we got red lights, red lights, red lights.
Cool, don't forget.
And it is green. Oh, whoa. Enrique Hervas got off to a terrible start there.
Wow. What happened to him?
Like a god-awful start. He's in 6th place only because a bunch of other people had to check up behind him, frankly.
Wow. Already we're seeing swift division of labor, teams.
Indeed. Christoph Verstappen got off to a great start. He's got a good lead over Moly Moly and Max Simons. A bit disappointing. Max is usually really quick off the line, but didn't get a great start this time. So back in 3rd place. There is John Barker up to 5th place. He got I'm not even going to say he got a great start. I just think that everyone behind Hervas got screwed over by Ricky Spanish getting no start whatsoever, basically.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate part of these.
If you were on the inside row, you just got kind of a massive freebie.
Yeah, it certainly worked out for some people.
James Butler to the back of the pack, and that's not surprising because I think he was the one that started directly behind Enrique Hervas, and this is Robert Waddell for Team UPS up to 7th place. I think he also benefited quite a bit from that start.
I'm kind of
one of the UPS cars went flying off. Judging by the fact that he's dropping down the order, I think that was Daniel Hernandez.
Yeah, that's not great. I'm kind of surprised that the Racing has yet to introduce rolling starts. You would think that would be, like, chief among their.
It's kind of hard to introduce them to get them to work properly because even ACC still is a little bit shaky.
Oh, definitely, but they've had 7 years.
ACC's problem isn't the rolling starts in the game. It's that drivers aren't really able to do rolling starts. Like that's all it is, because you have to be on the same page with everybody, and a lot of people just aren't. Like if you do a full manual rolling start in ACC, and I've done them, it's perfectly fine. It works great. It's that at the end of the day, you're giving drivers, as Max Simmons makes it overtake on Moly for top UPS man. Looked like Mole might have given him that, so that might be just some teamwork going with Max Simmons to the front, maybe. I don't know. I know Team UPS is trying to get back into the championship hunt. Their leader, Mike Stoppnell, not here today, so should see a different result.
I wonder what he was up to.
I think he's booked himself out of this series. Of course, this series has been somewhat hampered by the fact that the Indy cars require a pretty skilled driver to handle. And without trying to disparage anyone in the ESR community, we are a community that holds all different levels of skill. And as a result, some of these has been kind of messy. It looks like we might have lost James Butler and Zach Hemstrom already from the race.
It seems like
that's unfortunate.
And that combined, the difficulty of driving the cars combined with the somewhat unorthodox, tire strategy and also pit strategy that they sometimes require, it can be pretty challenging.
Indeed. I mean, they're a highly rewarding car to drive when you get it right, but I can say for myself, like, I don't feel comfortable.
Max Simmons going way, cutting the corkscrew a little bit.
Yeah.
Slowing down Moly.
Yes, it's not really working out for them because they're just losing ground to Verstappen, who's just blowing away with it.
He's checking out.
I haven't seen what tires Verstappen's running, because of course we do have the prime and the alternate tires, the reds and the whites, as it were. Haven't seen anyone on the alternates yet, but it would be interesting to see if Verstappen maybe went with the alternates to try to make a quick, short, early run, build up a lead, and I'm not going to comment on whether that 6 seconds we're being shown is accurate. I don't think it is, because it was at 8 seconds a little while ago. But he is
to say that. Just don't look at the times.
Yeah, he is definitely gone, though, I would have to say.
Certainly. And good to see that our push-to-pass readout is still not working.
Still not working either, yeah.
Use 9 push-to-passes in 1 lap.
Yeah.
Or 2 laps.
Yeah, I don't think that's really possible here.
No.
Mind you, Laguna Seca is not really a track that I would even really worry about push-to-pass on. There's just... It's not really a lot. There's not a lot of great options to even use it.
Going off in the background around turn 7.
Was it Robert? Because he's not dropping spots.
Well, he maybe it didn't affect him that much. I mean, he was just behind the guys that we were looking at. So,
Daniel Hernandez giving a little shove.
No,
who was
that? That was Luciano Echazo, not Javi B. Yeah, it was Echazo.
I can't keep up with this stupid scoreboard thing. It's not working.
UPS on UPS violence there. Echazo back to 12th place, back up to 11th. Is looks like Daniel Hernandez waited for him.
Not entirely sure why he would do that, but...
Well, they're teammates and the gentlemanly code. Again, it's not required in ESR, and I do kind of discourage it to a degree, because people think, waiting after they punted some... By the way, I think Hemstrom maybe is still running. It looks like he lost a lap, so he may have had to make a pit stop at some point, and may actually still be running.
Could have had some damage.
Actually, it looks like Butler is still running as well, so it looks like maybe they had to make a pit stop, perhaps. And
it's certainly
that's
possible.
What's got them at the back. It's a relatively short lap here. We are talking about a minute 10, maybe. Mm-hmm. Even less. Minute 8 apparently for Moly, minute 9, so it would not be hard to fall a lap down if you had to make a pit stop at a sequence.
Yeah, certainly, especially considering how kind of long but also awkward the pit road is at Laguna Seca.
This is a very awkward pit road.
It can be kind of hard to get back on track with the cold tires and cold brakes. Meanwhile,
Daniel Hernandez looking for a move on Wayne Hutchinson, and he's got it.
Looks like Hutchinson just let him have it, doesn't want to fight, especially in this close quarters.
Well, it's also that these cars are very twitchy at low speeds. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of interesting driving through the corkscrew.
Well, all driving is interesting through the corkscrew.
Okay, more interesting than normal. I mean, this is one of those few tracks that actually has, you can have a specialist label here. Like a Nordschleife, like Sabine Schmidt at the Nordschleife or whatever, but there are legitimately Laguna Seca specialists, like Brian Herta comes to mind, who are just considered really good at this track. And you don't get that with a lot of American tracks, in my experience.
Oh, certainly. There aren't too many tracks that that really stand out, and Laguna Seca is certainly one of them. Oh, Robert Waddell going off on turn 7.
And that's going to
And
cost him
Javi P go
7th
by.
place to Javi P.
He's there on the same team.
There's a lot of UPS guys, I think, in the field here. It's
That's true.
Simmons, Moley,
Oh, Moley going.
Javi P, Robert Waddell, Steve Carman, Luciano Chazo, Daniel Hernandez, all UPS. So UPS is out here in strength.
Yes. We're going to see what the Brown can do for us.
Bit surprised to see Luciano Chazo back in 10th, and I know he's back there because of the incident he had with Hernandez. But it was still a bit weird to see him even back there, because of course he's a Div 1 driver, a platinum-rated driver.
Although he's
really
had terrible luck this whole season, in pretty much every series he's raced in. I feel bad for the guy.
Oh,
someone's backwards.
Somebody was backwards.
Waddell.
No, it's Waddell.
Waddell.
It's Waddell. Chazo got a little bit of a shape avoiding him there. Good to see Steve Carman on the grid. These cars are a notable thing for him because, of course, what his I believe it's a nephew of his is actually works for one of the IndyCar teams.
Oh, really?
Indeed.
That's cool. Do you know which team?
Spit Peterson.
Oh, nice.
I think that was him, anyways. It might have been somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it was Steve Carman who was talking about that when we were having the great debate about whether the car should blow up in the pit lane or not.
I forgot about that.
I believe at the end of the day, we came to the somewhat conclusion that it was probably slightly too sensitive in the game, but that the cars that were blowing up were absolutely doing something incorrect.
Yeah, it's probably best to avoid that behavior regardless.
Indeed. But I believe the theory is that the game was being a little bit too draconian in punishing it. But that is... It doesn't matter. You gotta drive for the case. Gotta drive to the limitations of the sim.
Oh yeah. I mean, and like again, there's not too much advantage to be gained from just redlining the engine while you're in the pits.
Actually, there is a fair bit because of the turbo lag in these cars.
Well, on the launch, yeah, but when you're just kind of sitting there and you do you, but
Wayne Hutchinson, the only member of the bot team to be here today, currently running in 10th place behind Daniel Hernandez. Ricky Spanish back to 11th place. Not sure what happened to him. I mean, we saw him get a terrible start, don't get me wrong, but that only relegated him to 6th place.
Well, yeah, because he started pretty high up there.
Yeah, he was P4. And as stated, almost everyone behind him on the outside row had to check up and couldn't overtake him, so that helped him out as well.
They must have had a spot of bad luck. I've noticed a lot of people are going wide on this track. It's certainly unstable, or it's certainly a hard track to drive in these unstable Indy cars.
It's a track that, of course, being a desert, has a bit of dust-off line. Not sure who that
Team Freedom.
is.
It might be Waddell. No.
Waddell's UPS.
Waddell's the UPS, yeah.
Not sure who that would be.
I'm not sure. Could be useless.
Could be Hemstrom.
That's certainly possible.
Can't remember if Hemstrom is UPS or Cobalt.
Did we lose someone? I feel like we lost someone.
We are down to 13 cars.
Penalty for speeding in pit lane.
And it's a long enough race that's not a huge issue, unless that's gonna be a repeat problem, which does tend to be the case.
He may get another drive-through while serving us drive-through.
Yeah, that's
happened
happen.
Before.
John Barker, Martin Edmonds, longtime rivals, fighting here over 4th place. Probably not fighting too fiercely though, being teammates.
Yeah, and they have quite some gap between them and the next driver.
And it doesn't look like they have anyone directly behind them or directly in front of them, so probably just a follow.
Just shaking and bacon.
Still haven't noted anybody trying to start the race on alts, which I wouldn't recommend. I am definitely a fan of the prime tire opening strategy. Because
there's value to both strategies.
There's value to both strategies, but the alternate strategy locks you into a strategy that may not actually work. And
ideally, you know exactly how long it can take to use up a set of primes and a set of alternates, and you can sort of tailor your driving strategy to fit. Obviously, we're not professional enough here, most of us at least, to put that much time and effort into
Oh, for
testing
sure.
that. But if you can, it can certainly be valuable. You just gotta have that knowledge.
To be honest, I was not big on the red wall alts. Now, mind you, all of my experience here was Indianapolis, so obviously this may be a track-to-track thing. But at Indianapolis, I just thought the alts as there's an overtake going on for 8th place there.
Daniel Hernandez making a move on Luciano Ichazo.
Looks like Ichazo held him off.
Yeah, I don't think.
But my problem at Indianapolis was that for the accelerated wear that the alts had, you just weren't getting enough pace advantage. Now that may be different. That may be different elsewhere. That may have been a track-specific problem. John Barker overtaking
John Barker going
Martin
by
Edmonds.
Martin Edmonds.
It was more just a mistake by Edmonds than anything else.
We got by regardless.
Are we still
running? Holy crap! Increased wear on the tires this round.
I don't believe we ever were. I think this is just times like these cars wear their tires quite quickly on default. So.
Shout out to Taco Messiah.
Taco Messiah! I don't even know who that is.
Playing Battlefield 5 or V, depending on who you are.
Shout out to Battlefield V.
Shout out to Battlefield V! Okay, enough of that.
I'm not really sure I'm keen on the soundboard. Let us know in the comments below.
This is probably going to be the only time I use it. I just got it working, and so I wanted to...
I wonder why the comments are turned off.
Luciano Ichazo catching up to Steve Carman. Not overly surprising, Luciano is, again, one of the better drivers in the field today.
Yeah.
A little bit out of position running in 8th place as he gets the overtake around the outside, so Steve Carman definitely let him have that.
Well, Carman did touch him a little bit. He got nudged just the slightest bit, but it wasn't...
Shout out to Javier Perez Torres, who's parked himself up behind Martin Edmonds. This is a Div 1 versus a Div 3 driver, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Javi P, he's my hero.
I do know that Martin Edmonds is a notoriously bad manager of tires, so you never know. His tires might already be going off.
Looks like Javi's used all of his push to pass.
Unfortunately, the push to pass is not accurate.
Gonna talk about Messiah again.
We noticed that after the first race of this series that the push to pass is it's not accurate. We're not getting the correct stuff.
Oh, Martin Edmonds going very
Martin
wide
off, and Javi's got it. Wayne Hutchison going for a move.
Making a pass on Danny Hernandez.
Daniel Hernandez has got no front wing. That's a big problem.
Yeah, it's probably not great.
Not great for pace.
These cars are highly aerodynamically sensitive.
Oh yes. Luckily, he should be just about ready to come in for his first pit stop regardless.
Wondering who those UPS cars that passed him, the two cars that passed him after Wayne are, because they didn't pass him for position, so they're...
Max Simon's a moly maybe?
Well, it could be Waddell and Hemstrom.
I mean, that's certainly true. I mean, there's really no way we're going to be able to find out, unfortunately.
I don't think Verstappen would be lapping people yet. It's a small lap, but I don't think.
Actually, no, I don't think so. Judging by where they are on the track.
And it's definitely not Simons, because him and Moley are close together. Although they did just lap Waddell there, or whoever that was in the pit lane. Could have been Hernandez. Could have been Hernandez. It was a UPS car for sure. And one of the Cobalts is coming in. That is Martin Edmonds. This seems a little bit early for a pit stop. Seems a bit early for a pit stop. I was expecting maybe 40 minutes would be where the pits are, but I guess 44 is not impossible to be.
I mean, as you said, Martin Edmonds is not known for his tire longevity strategies.
No, he is not. I look up to Martin in a lot of ways as a driver and as an admin, and deserves all the respect in the world, but tire management is not a skill that he possesses.
Off on turn 4.
Oh, and he's got no front wing.
So good. Oh, he's got a long lap ahead of him. That's gonna hurt. Losing it so early.
Oh, going through the corkscrew with that is gonna be miserable.
Braking for the corkscrew. Screw that.
Driving to the corkscrew.
Oh, the kink. The kink is going to be miserable.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great.
Actually, I take it back. The corkscrew isn't even the worst part of this track. It'd be the kink. The kink would be absolute garbage. Would you say it'd be pretty kinky? Nah, because kinky can be a good thing depending on how you look at it. It's
Yeah,
bad all the
exactly.
way.
Is I think we need to ask Javi if it is.
I'll ask him.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh man.
there is Javi dragging himself around. Wayne Hutchinson up to 7th place.
It's both a blessing and a curse that the front wing is the easiest thing to break off on these cars, because it does make you a little bit safer. These cars, oh, yep, understeer. I was just gonna say, these cars get real understeery without that front wing.
Yeah,
But,
that was really bad because Javi was fighting with Martin Edmonds for position. So Martin's been in for a pit stop, gotten fresh tires and gas, and has already overtaken Javi. So he's now literally a pit stop ahead.
moly, 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 pretending like the corkscrew didn't exist. Good strategy.
It happens. It happens.
I know. I kid.
Also, you don't really gain a tremendous advantage because that sand will destroy your tires even more.
That's not Javi, is it?
I think that is Javi.
Go even on the second lap? Wouldn't you immediately go in for a pit stop if you broke your wing?
You're right. He should have been in. The only thing I can think is we're like 2 minutes away from where people would be looking for pit stops. Maybe he's just trying to drag it around to make his fuel stop also his damage stop.
Yeah, that's a strategy, all right. But
I don't think it's advisable, but it is something that could work. Steve
Carman's
Carman's got
wing.
Yeah, Carman missing a wing too. So,
there is.
There is Steve Carman. No
I'm
nose.
I'm still of the belief. Handling the corkscrew very nicely though. I'm of the belief.
He was very slow through there though.
you should be able to compile or combine your push to passes for multiple uses into one.
I don't think
that there's any engineering way to make that happen though.
No, there isn't, but there needs to be. Just I don't know, it's just freaking slap another engine in the back there, and only turn it on when you're using more than 4 push to passes at the same time.
That's a terrible plan because
it's a great plan because you got really
so much more weight.
Yeah, it's perfect. You gotta really be strategic with your push to pass use. Like, man, you can get so much benefit out of that, but also, the extra weight. But then, you can only use it for like 3 seconds, maybe. So, never know.
One of the UPS cars making a recovery from the Andretti hairpin.
No damage. Still in third place.
He's either lost Max Simmons or that's Max Simmons ahead of him.
I believe that is.
Which means he did lose him because that car definitely went off at the Andretti hairpin. So James Butler up to 8th place. We think he made an early pit stop. So that's something to keep in mind.
It makes sense, although at this point we're not really looking at that early of pits now. It's a shame that this game doesn't really illustrate when people are in the pits.
That is true. There's a couple of things. One of the UPS cars.
There.
That is Simmons in the pits. So Max Simmons in for his first of 2 pit stops, I would think, for fuel. Most of these races have been 2 stoppers. I don't think anyone's gone for a 3 stopper.
Wayne's gonna go for a 1 stop.
I don't think even Wayne would go for a 1 stop.
He's got his fellow Canadian behind him. He can make it happen.
Martin Edmonds trailing Wayne Hutchinson. They've got a UPS car in between them. Could be Robert Waddell. Could be Steve Carman. Daniel Hernandez.
I was going to say, it might be Daniel Hernandez.
Luciano Ichazo in the pit lane. Championship contender in the 3D Speed Series, Luciano Ichazo.
Martin Edmonds all over the back of... Is that Wayne Hutchinson?
That is Wayne Hutchinson, yeah.
It strikes me as odd. I don't...
Presumably this is a battle for position.
Of course. I mean, if the timing is not, like, on the order of magnitude of, like, whole laps, I think we are. We're watching a battle for position.
That UPS car is down a lap, so he is not a factor in this.
Ooh, Martin Edmonds coming very close to the pit boundaries.
That's Luciano. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. That's an automatic drive-through.
Yeah, I know.
I know that from personal experience, and it's kind of annoying because
me too.
I discovered it because someone hit me in the ass, and I kind of did a half spin out and went across the pit line, and it's like drive-through penalty. I'm like, but I didn't do anything.
Yep.
So Wayne Hutchinson will now be leading Luciano Ichazo. Luciano and Martin are on much fresher tires. and are much faster naturally. Not overall, but I did notice that Wayne qualified pretty low down on the grids. It doesn't look like doesn't look like this is a track that's one of his better ones.
Ooh. He's also trying to make a pass on a lapped car of some sort.
Yep. Hopefully that was communicated up in the team chat.
It also looked very sketchy. I'm glad no one ended up coming together on that.
Mm-hmm.
Corkscrew is generally not a great place to pass.
Yeah, no.
If in unicorn situations you can set it up, but it's
Well, yeah,
highly
you can send it up the
inadvisable.
inside for sure. It happens.
Yeah, your dad likes to do that a lot. Oh.
It's not a very good strategy, though.
Also,
You're betting
Ranger likes to do it too. Just send it up Alex Zanardi style.
Moly
Nice.
moly into the pit lane from second place.
Shout out to the dude in the fire suit trying to look busy. You know that guy's getting paid by the hour.
Wayne Hutchinson, 7th.
Did someone go off in the background there? No.
Don't think I noted it, but it's possible.
I thought I saw tire tracks. Nope.
It would not surprise me. This is a track where a lot of offs generally happen. And these are not the easiest cars to drive, as we have detailed already.
Definitely a lot not off camber, but definitely oddly cambered turns, especially like you said, these cars struggle to put the power down at low speed, and so especially with the giant turbo lag, and then with the if you may have cold tires, it can just be a huge nightmare. We got a pass going on in the back. That is a lap car, though.
I think it's a lap car.
About that.
Yeah, I don't think we have any actual position battles going on right now. There's this little one here between Edmonds and Luciano, but they are not yet close enough to each other to really get excited about.
It's worth noting that there's only really 2 places in the whole track where they're even probably reaching that high of speeds, and that's right before the corkscrew, where you really don't want to be messing with that braking zone too much, and the Andretti hairpin, where you can kind of mess with it, but if you're not too careful, you can end up in a really bad situation. So these cars are really not too much in their element, even if they're set up, with high downforce and that stuff. So we tip of the hat to the drivers who are admirably making their way around this track in what I would call suboptimal conditions here, in spite of
And
the weather.
not blowing their engines in the pit lane.
Yeah. Only bozos do that.
Yeah.
Hey, why you gotta insult Sean Kenny like that?
Didn't you do that too?
I did that too.
That's why I threw that shade.
My race at Indy did in fact come to an end. I was having a good battle with Javi P actually, so that was a little disappointing.
Well, it lasted.
It was a good battle. Not a great battle, to be honest, because we were both going off the track a lot. So it was like, and I fucked up, and you fucked up, and I overtake you now.
Luciano Chazo making a pass on Martin Edmonds. As you guys were talking, I was thinking about commenting. Little tap is considering that he's been setting up for this for quite some time.
Ooh, is Martin gonna try and come back into the kink? No. That'd be a bad idea. That'd be a Higgsian idea.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I'm talking more about your dad.
The other Higgs.
Your dad has a real bad habit of trying to do things at the kink and the corkscrew on this track.
Matt, do you like doing things with the kink?
I had a
Depends.
had a conversation when one other driver complained to me about it. I'm like, you really might want to rethink that philosophy. I don't think he did, though. I don't think he listened to me on that.
Just go full send it into the corkscrew. What could go wrong?
Just go lick the stamp and send it.
Lick the stamp.
There's a time and a place for it. Like I'm not saying you can't overtake at the corkscrew.
When you're sending a letter,
you absolutely
package maybe.
You absolutely can. But it's. I'm actually going to do a video tomorrow actually about this for the Academy. I'm going to go over the Suzuka West course layout and talk about like the 3 stages of how good a turn is for overtaking. Number 1 being probably ill-advised, but if you got a good chance, Wayne Hutchinson in the pit lane.
Shout out to Wayne.
Number 2 is kind of like that medium area of like this is a possible overtake. It's not a great one, but it's something you can do. And then number 1 is or number 3 is like, this is a prime overtaking opportunity. This is a great spot. So we kind of classify that to see.
I think one time at the ESR
but the corkscrew and the kink are for sure tier 1. Very rarely is it
I
a good
thought
idea.
tier 0. Like, don't touch it. Don't do it.
I think one time at the ESR race at Suzuka in the TCR cars, I was driving and...
Oh, Javi P going
Javi
P
on
off.
the exit of the Andretti hairpin. Oh.
Looks like he's recovered without losing a spot, but did he lose the nose cone?
I don't think so. He wasn't holding too much momentum, although Butler seems to be making serious pace on him, or serious progress on his gap there. Yo!
Oh, no!
Hey, wow!
no!
There goes Butler's win,
Yeah,
and Javi's win is gone too.
Yeah.
Oh, that is tragic.
I can't blame Butler for that one. You just don't expect to come into that curve and be like, oh god, there's a really slow car there.
Yeah, especially considering that Javi. That was kind of a weird line he was taking.
Well, I think he was trying to take a line that would get him out of the way, but he
wasn't
really do
enough.
that.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't off to the side enough. Whatever, it's in the past, but that is terrifying for Butler. Is that Stim still in there?
I think that is still Butler.
Oh, James Butler. I mean, Julio.
He lost a spot there to Wayne Hutchinson, so I'm going to have to say that he did indeed. Hutchinson is tracking down. That is not a car on the same lap.
Oh, it's Verstappen out off in the last corner.
Indeed. Way out in front, but pushing a little too hard.
Going in, this is not the Dakar 1000, Christoph. I need you to reel it in a little bit.
I've said this before, and Christoph doesn't want to hear me say it, but I gotta say it anyways. I do believe that Christoph's biggest weakness as a driver is the inability to turn the switch off. He doesn't have it in him to just drive to a pace. He's always pushing.
I like pushing.
That's one of my few abilities that I do have.
I mean, there are times in a race where you just, 95% is good enough. You don't have to go with 100. And with the lead he has, and he's still got it, but like you go off there and you hit the wall and break your wing off, that lead disappears real quick.
You're done, bud. Well, especially because, I mean, it says 14 seconds. He could even have 30 seconds. It's not a huge amount of time in the jet set, especially because we still have half the race to go. Mm-hmm. If you, like you said, if you lose your front wing, you're going to lose maybe 10 conservatively seconds, but then you have to pit to get it back. Every lap you wait, you're losing another 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That can fly by like that.
And we're not really in a pit zone here because I think probably his next pit zone's about 20 minutes left.
Dipping two off.
Luciano Echazo getting a little bit aggressive there. He is potentially catching a car for position, though. I think that is John Barker ahead of him.
That is John Barker indeed. So this turn you keep calling the kink. Is that the one right before the long
before the corkscrew is the kink.
Okay. I just know that as turn 7, but
it's full throttle depending on the car. Some require a lift, but it is probably the most dangerous one to do if you're bringing in a broken wing.
Oh, I would argue it's the most dangerous corner.
Drive-through penalty for James Butler speeding the pit lane as he was getting his front end repaired from his contact with Javi P.
A terrible turn of events gets worse for James Butler.
Indeed.
As that loss of a wing contact with Javi P turns into yet more lost time.
So that was the kink we just went through right there.
Oh
wait, no, this is it. This is it here, yeah. This is the kink. Whoa. Like that camera view.
It is a good camera view. I'm kind of surprised that a lot of these guys are getting really aggressive on that turn.
I mean, I don't blame these two guys. They're battling for position. This is the time where you're bringing that 110% right now. This is push time.
Well, yeah, it's true, but I didn't just mean this. I mean, basically every time we get that camera angle, we see people dipping too off the edge or almost very nearly. And while that is a valid strategy,
it depends on
it's,
how much. It depends on how much that curve upsets the car. Of course, as the Andretti hairpin was looking like it moved there for Luciano
Luciano made it happen.
Javi Perez Torres. That's a lap car behind him, so that is not for position.
No, it isn't. It's Zach Hemstrom.
Was that Zach? Okay, you might be right.
I think so.
I forget what team Hemstrom's on. I think that's what's throwing me off.
I thought it was UPS.
It was a UPS car.
Has Butler retired, or is he down a lap?
I think he's down a lap. He had a drive-through penalty.
His car,
so, yeah.
he fixed his car and then had a drive-through on top of that. Yep.
I mean, it's possible he's rage quit. It looks like we definitely lost Robert Waddell.
Yeah.
Steve Carman is also possible. Sure, of course.
Butler's now down 2 laps.
It would have had to have been a stroke of bad luck to rival freaking Napoleon, but it's certainly possible. Because wasn't Carmen way up in the mid pack a while ago?
Yeah, but a broken wing could easily change that. And,
yeah, you don't want your.
We saw him break a wing earlier, so it's definitely possible.
Maybe he's going to the hospital. It's not good if you break your wing.
Shut up, Cole.
So this is it was in fact Hemstrom that was overtaken by Javi Perez Torres. So we're riding up with him now, and they're fighting for positions. That's good. 2 of the Academy drivers, 3 Academy drivers in total in today's field.
Hey, Mike,
the Academy drivers are doing pretty well in ACC.
Yeah, they are. We
Indeed.
keep seeing more of them show up, and they're putting up a pretty good fight.
To clarify, Sabrina is not an Academy driver. She is the reigning champion of the Academy. She won semester 2 of the Academy with her sister Nicola. For our
racing family.
For our purposes, they count as one driver because they're never racing each other. They only had one rig.
Academy driver, correct?
Jack Simpson is an Academy driver.
Okay.
Zach Hemstrom is.
James
Butler. Elliot Barron is.
Barron.
Oh yeah, we had like half the field was.
Elliot is yet to make his debut in the Academy. He unfortunately could not make the Suzuki.
Oh,
Hemstrom makes the move!
Wonderful pass.
Around the outside of the kink.
Javi P had a very unsteady exit. Although
no!
Isn't able to
gives
hold
it back.
Zach.
Haven't seen any red sidewall tires yet, so...
Matt, that's obnoxious.
What was that?
Mind you, I think if we see red sidewall tires, it probably will be the 3rd stint.
Just you saying Zach.
I mean, he could pronounce it like that. You never know.
It does look like James Butler might be out of the race because he's lost another lap. So it looks like he is done. And Carman, I would say, is definitely done because he is not making any ground up on Butler.
Maybe he's just pulling an Alonso. He's got a lawn chair set up by the corkscrew, and he's just enjoying a mojito.
I mean, I would.
Fernando Alonso's got all the interest about the F1 calendar again. It's like I don't know why there's interest in him. If he's not with a top, if he's not with a top team, it doesn't matter, and he's not going to be with a top team. So the speculation is just not needed.
In like 2017, 2018, I felt bad for him.
I don't feel bad for him.
Well, I don't anymore. I used to.
No. I never did because here's the thing. He left Renault when they were a good team.
He's left every team right before they become good.
Well, no, Renault was a good team. Like he left them as a champion, and then he left McLaren because he couldn't deal with having Lewis Hamilton alongside of him. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I do believe that there is something to the idea that McLaren favored Hamilton. I do. Yeah, I do. I think that every team has a number 1 driver when it comes down to it. I think that when Mark Webber talks about being about Red Bull favoring Vettel, I think he's entirely correct.
Multi-21 Seb.
Mm-hmm. But he's left McLaren, Ferrari, and Renault. Like at some point, Martin Edmonds is coming out of the pits. So Martin is in theory fueled to the end, but a 24-minute stint is going to be pretty long.
Especially for tires, I'm gonna say that he's gonna have to make another stop.
Might.
If he was
I would say so too.
If he was struggling to make 20 minutes earlier, he's not gonna be able to make it. We might see him go on alts for the last little bit of the race.
Could definitely see an alt stint.
He
With,
might be placing all his chips on reds.
Maybe. I think he's more or less guaranteed a top 7, though, to be honest. He's apparently a lap up on Wayne Hutchinson, so.
Yeah, last we saw Wayne, he was having a very sketchy corkscrew. Wonder if
Oh, there he is, actually. He's up ahead.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually, he's the only card that's really easy to find because he's the only green one.
Exactly.
What happened to the rest of the bot cars?
Unfortunately, the bot team has fallen on dark times. Like it's been kind of rough. Some interesting lag going on there, that's for sure.
He was trying to engage the flux capacitor.
Indeed.
Didn't quite work.
Again, Christoph going off the track when he's pretty far ahead.
Pretty far? He's only got 6 seconds, apparently.
Yeah, I'd say if it was 6 seconds, we'd be able to see Simmons in the background, and we cannot, so...
I mean, normally, doesn't it normally overestimate the time, though, rather than underestimate it?
You're right, but I've been told, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, so take it with a grain of salt.
I noticed we don't have our 2 Australian boys.
It's something to do with the tires, the new tire model. The timing's not being translated through when the tires are getting lit up. So, one of the UPS cars off.
That's
Luciano Chazzo. John Barker earning a spot there.
Very nice.
Well, not really earning, but stayed on track, and got it done.
I mean, yeah, the guy goes off.
I think Luciano is missing a wing as well. A front wing.
His wing is gone.
That could be Simmons in the background of Verstappen, but still, he's got a good lead. If we go to Simmons, I'd like to see what his fastest lap is. Looks like we've lost Luciano, so we're down to 9 cars left.
Verstappen almost butchering the corkscrew. He's gotta reel it in a little bit, or rein it in a little bit. Gotta be a little more careful.
And he will not.
He's again dipping too off on, what was that, turn 11? Oh,
indeed.
That is, Christoph, you gotta calm down a little bit, bud.
Like I said, I don't say it to be negative, because every driver has an aspect of problematicness, and like I have plenty. If you want me to detail them, I shall. But I do honestly believe that Christoph's biggest weakness is he just doesn't know when to turn it down a bit. I think the results would. I think he would find the results would improve.
I think we saw Simmons in the background there, right behind Hutchinson. So this could be really interesting. Ooh, Christoph.
Could be. Going through the kink and heading towards the corkscrew.
Yeah, everyone has their niggles. But
Here we go.
We'll see if Christoph can hold on. He is making up some time according to the verifiable.
Edmonds overtaking Hernandez. I imagine that means Hernandez is in the pits for his second fuel stop.
Makes sense.
And a third set of tires.
Looks like Luciano Ricciardo might have retired.
Yeah, I think we noted that earlier. We are down to 9 cars, so again, high attrition race here with the Indy cars.
Yeah.
And of the cars running, Wayne Hutchinson, Javier Perez Torres, Zach Hemstrom have all had to pit. Speeding in the pit lane!
Oh, that's
Daniel Hernandez. He's been having a really good race, too.
That's really unfortunate because of all the bad things to be said about the pit lane in this track, Laguna Seca, you can't really say that it's hard to guess where the pit lane begins. Like it's pretty clear.
It's relatively cut and dry. The only real complaint I have is honestly the exit.
Yeah, the exit's tough, but it's pretty clear where the speed limit starts.
It also feels like the exit is really, really slippery. Maybe it's like that in real life. I don't know. Obviously, never raced at Laguna Seca in reality.
Well, it is kind of off camber.
Mm-hmm. But it does feel like it's in the game. It feels like
Ooh,
if it was that slippery, you'd see more mistakes in real life. I just feel like that's the case.
Yeah.
Verstappen now apparently way ahead of Simons, though again we don't know if that's any remotely accurate timing. Could be that Simons came in for a pit stop though.
He could have pit. Either he had a mistake. I want to say he pit though.
We are in that general time frame where everyone should be making that final pit stop.
Let's see where Verstappen takes his.
Here's
Looking at Moly.
Supposedly close to Simmons.
Simmons is nowhere to be found.
No, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Ahead.
There he is. Okay.
He's making his way through the final turn.
Looks
Christoph
like we're in 3 seconds.
Verstappen. Verstappen through the corkscrew, coming up to one of his teammates, who I'm sure will oblige.
No, Ichazo's running again, it looks like.
Okay, Ichazo's up and running again. Okay.
So the timing, the scoreboard must have just gone to sleep for a second.
Oh, Verstappen in the pit lane, along with one of the other UPS cars.
Yeah, who is that? Is that
No idea.
I'm gonna figure it out. It's Barker. John Barker.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say John Barker is the only one that really makes sense. Actually, we only have like three Cobalt cars running at this point. So.
Oh yeah, the attrition is been more Cobalt sided, hasn't it? Or Team Freedom or whatever.
Yeah, we're down to just Edmonds, Barker, and Verstappen. The top three. So I guess if you get. UPS should make up some good ground here. Javi Perez Torres overtakes Wayne Hutchinson. Surprising that Wayne is struggling with tires by the looks of it, because he's sliding around a lot. Because Wayne, number one, normally an excellent tire manager, and number two, he pitted the latest, so his tires should be the freshest of the people who have not made the
Maybe they're too fresh. Yeah, maybe they're too fresh.
He's been out there for a couple of laps. Like, he's got to have heat in the tire.
Okay. Or maybe he's just struggling with temp.
I mean, could be, but that would suggest he's been struggling all race, which is not impossible, but a bit weird.
That comes from holding on to the tail of Wayne Hutchinson. Still making up some ground, actually. He was a little bit closer than the last time we saw him.
Speaking of the Academy, Zach Hemstrom, current Academy Championship leader, by a fair margin.
And he's the CEO of GTRs and ACC.
That was a lot of abbreviations there.
So Verstappen has lost the lead to Max Simons, which is interesting.
Can't say I'm... Well, no, he did take a pit stop.
We don't know if Simons has made that second pit stop. We theorize Simons has taken that second pit stop, but we don't know because we didn't see it. We just saw a gap grow and kind of assumed that he dropped to the pit lane. Which, of course, with our inaccurate gapage is problematic.
No, I think it's appropriate to say that they've all taken their second pit stop, because
I'm thinking that is the case. I do think you're correct.
When we were looking at him earlier, Simmons was only about 4.5 seconds behind Verstappen. So one of them, you could easily make that up, and just butchering the pit exit, or this or that or this. It's worth.
Max Simmons to the front. Verstappen second, Moly third.
Verstappen is not letting him have any breathing room.
Well, I would not. I'd be piling the pressure on right now. And Christoph is an aggressive driver, so I imagine he is absolutely doing that.
I was going to say, if Christoph Verstappen was good at anything, it'd be pressuring.
and he's had the pace all day long. I'd like to get Simmons to see what his fastest lap is, but Verstappen's got a 107.1, which is by far the fastest lap I think we've seen. Ichazo's back to being 3 laps down, so I don't know.
Who knows? We haven't seen him on the camera, so could be anything. He might have gone to get a milkshake. Never know.
Indeed.
Gotta say, I'm really digging the dynamic time advancement, or whatever they call it. I like that it's kind of making its way into being more...
the day multiplier.
Is that what that's called?
Indeed.
I like dynamic time advancement more, but anyway, I'm digging it in any case. I like how it's kind of transitioned into being.
You're digging it
now.
So Verstappen keeps piling the pressure on what we think is Max Simons.
Yeah, I don't have any reason to believe it's not Max Simons.
I do with 99% certainty say that it is Max Simons, but
I was told it's Max Seaman.
Ooh.
Oh no, it's Simons. But you can call him whatever you want. He accepts it.
A little bit of lift off oversteer from Verstappen that puts him back a tiny bit, but he'll probably make that up in short order. The question is Max that much slower than Christoph? That will allow Verstappen to get by cleanly, especially when they're coming up on Wayne Hutchinson here.
Oh, I've noticed we don't have that thing where it keeps warping back to first place.
That apparently has been fixed, so we should be good there. We're still going to see a little bit more first place action just because of the timing gaps not being correct.
Oh, Simmons getting a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 6, and Wayne Hutchinson providing a back marker.
Oh, he's going for the pass.
Corkscrew!
Going for the pass. They're too high.
He got done. Simmons did not force the issue.
Oh, but Verstappen, no, that's okay. Simmons got to run out of the corkscrew. It's not going to be enough, though.
It's not enough. There's not a great overtake opportunity at that next turn, to be honest.
Sadly, yeah, the Sector 3 of Laguna Seca is easily one of my favorite sectors in all of racing, but it is not a great passing opportunity. So.
Yeah, there's not a ton of great passing opportunities on this track in general. It'll be interesting to see how the Academy drivers tackle it, because, of course, this will be round 6 and 12 of the Academy.
Speaking of Mike, his name is Mike. What is the schedule for the Academy? I was thinking maybe popping in. Oop, Simmons getting a little bit.
You would be too good for the Academy, sir.
Okay.
You were too experienced.
Okay, fair enough.
But the Academy runs every 2 weeks on Saturdays before the whatever happens to be the main series at the time for ESR. So right now that is the Formula USA series. I do believe that Martin has put up a form for people to fill out for what the next one's going to be. I think modern DTMs, WTCRs, and single make DTM with the 2003s were the ones brought up. I personally would like the modern DTM because it's going to be another team event, and having the modern DTMs will be really, really helpful for this whole figuring out who's what car.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because then you could just do Team Audi, Team Mercedes, and Team BMW.
But also have their liveries be distinct enough to actually be able to differentiate.
Interesting that there is one of the UPS cars in the pit lane not running, but still here, so they didn't exit the race, which is a bit weird.
I think maybe that was Ichazo.
Could be Luciano Ichazo. Max Simmons trying to come back against Verstappen.
We might see Max overextending a little bit.
Oh, there, by the way, we finally do have an answer. Simmons' best lap of 107.7, so about 7/10 slower than Verstappen.
That's a pretty substantial amount, although he's certainly proven himself capable of going toe-to-toe with Christoph, if not necessarily at the current moment. Doesn't have the best.
These cars definitely play to Max Simmons' strengths. Max is a very much an open wheel kind of guy. He likes to be able to push the braking zones to the max. It's actually been a bit of a problematic transition to tin tops for him.
He seems to be doing pretty well in the Porsche.
He can still do well. He's still fast. That's not been the problem. But his racecraft in the tin tops has been a little bit suspect. He's kind of been that guy who, when you're racing against him, you're a little bit worried that he's going to break at the appropriate moment.
The inappropriate moment, you mean?
Well, that too.
You're gonna be worried whether or not he breaks at the opportune moment. Oh, nice ground textures.
Oh, Javi's gone red sidewalls.
Oh, he has.
Javi!
He's gonna put the hurt on Wayne.
He's rolling the dice with the alternate tires.
I think
Go,
Wayne
Javi.
has also gone red though.
Has he? I'm trying. No, those are whites. Those are whites for sure.
I saw the red side of his car. And I thought it was. Javi making mincemeat of Wayne Hutchinson.
Oh yeah, well those are some fresh reds. Javi's gonna be on a charge now.
The question is, will they last 10 minutes?
I don't know. I mean, again,
they are terrible.
I mean, at Indianapolis, again, I found they wore at almost a 2 times rate. So I mean, getting 10 minutes out of them is gonna be hard.
The Firestone Firehawks that they use in these, even in real life, are not very great endurance, and the alternates are just you can basically see them disintegrating. They don't have longevity, certainly. Although Max Simmons holding on to the coattails of Christoph Verstappen.
He is indeed. He's running some good laps right now. Now, the problem for him is he's got older tires than Christoph, so that's also going to be another thing that makes this difficult.
And he's kind of past the Rubicon of being able to pit a third time, so...
Zach Hemstrom going alts!
Nice.
We got red sidewalls from 2 Academy drivers. This could be interesting.
Wait, what happened to Wayne?
I think Wayne's in the pits.
Oh. Bold choice. Maybe he's going alts too.
Well, no, Wayne went almost 30 minutes on the first stint, if you recall.
Wayne Hutchinson drive-through penalty. That's going to be it for Wayne.
So, yeah, I would say Wayne was in a perfect position to do some red sidewalls, but unfortunately with the drive-through penalty, that's going to derail that a bit.
Well, meanwhile, we have a pretty big spread between everyone on the field except for Christoph Verstappen and Max Simmons. Max is losing a teeny,
well,
itsy
presumably Hemstrom and Perez shouldn't be too far apart. I know it's being shown as 20 seconds, but it feels like it should be closer.
Well, we last saw Javi P passing Wayne Hutchinson, and at the time they weren't too close to him.
But then we saw Hemstrom overtake Wayne.
That was after Wayne pit.
It was admittedly in the pit lane, but it still, to me, suggests that it should be less than 20 seconds.
Now Christopher Strippen coming up on what looks to be Daniel Hernandez, potentially?
Could be Hernandez.
I can't say for certain.
Yeah, Wayne Hutchinson being there doesn't really help us.
Yeah, damn it.
I think it is probably Hernandez, or though it could actually be Moly Moly.
Yeah, we haven't seen that guy in a while.
Assuming that the timing gap is remotely correct, which again is probably a mistake.
We can't make that assumption.
It would indicate that Verstappen should be pretty close to lapping Moly, and the fact that UPS car has stayed in front of them for some time, I think it's Mole.
Well, Max Simmons.
I wonder what's happened to him. Haven't seen him in a while.
Still keeping with Christoph.
He's not really had the pace to keep with these two guys all day. Christoph's been in a land of his own, and it's really just his mistakes that are really making this a bit of a nail-biter. And Max Simmons has been definitively the number 2 man.
Alright, who are you guys going to bet who comes in first?
I'm going to say Christoph. He just has the edge, and while it's certainly possible that he could take himself out, I don't see that happening. It looks like he's got enough leeway to be able to make the win happen here.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat here. I do believe Christoph
held up really hard by this.
Well, he's gotten past him now, but yeah.
Well, they're down. They're down to
oh,
Max Simmons! Oh,
almost taking his teammate out. Jesus.
Oh man, that was a nail biter.
Guys, this is why you got to communicate under those blue flags.
Meanwhile, Max Simmons is up to barely over a car length away from Christoph Verstappen, so maybe I'm going to eat my words. If Max Simmons can get in Christoph's toe... Oh, and there goes a UPS car flying off. If he can get in Christoph's toe, that could be enough to just let him latch in there, stay in his wake, and just kind of wait the inevitable that may or may not come.
Well, we'll see.
Because these cars are very aero-dependent. Although he is losing some ground after a couple of not super stellar corners.
Well, it does seem like this section of the track is also where Christoph is able to put that pace to good use. It seems
to be more confident through the kink.
Sector 2 is his spot. It seems.
Kinky.
He's a very good driver. I've been critical of him throughout this commentary. But that is partially because I believe he is a very promising driver, and I've seen some great performances.
He's Div 1, right?
He is Div 1, yes. Former Academy driver, one long-time graduate. Well, not long.
The Academy's greatest success stories.
Yeah, it's like him and Josiah Jerome are pretty much the top 2 dudes from the Academy graduate pool. Although it is, of course, a bit of a weird thing.
Simmons. You're seeing Max Simmons make some mistakes in this last few laps.
It wasn't a terribly large mistake.
I regret not doing the Academy.
Well, could have been.
Academy's a good place to learn. It's not foolproof. There's some guys who are a little bit stuck there. We're still trying to figure out how to help them. It's a developing process, but it is definitely a good place to get advice from some fast drivers within the ESR community and become a little bit more familiar with racecraft, pace, and setup.
That reminds me. So the reason why I was asking if I could perhaps join in, regardless of skill, like I realize that I'm not the most refined driver of all time, and I was thinking maybe if I could get some tips from some people who actually know what they're doing. Could you recommend anything? Do you guys have any like training practice sessions or
To me,
anything like that?
to me, the biggest thing is we've got a number of team series, and picking up a teammate can help because the way we structure the teams is we're trying to get people from all skill levels to have to work together. So that's an excellent way to pick up tips from a platinum or a gold driver.
Ichaso is in the GT3 Speed series, right? 3D Speed.
He is indeed.
And he's teamless, if I remember correctly.
No, he's with the Brazilians, Wayne and Ronaldo. If you're looking for a 3D Speed teammate, I would suggest looking up Ariel Zatoni.
That's right.
Teammateless. And a very, very good driver. A solid platinum driver.
I've been talking about connecting with him for like weeks, and I just keep forgetting to do it. I need to.
Indeed, I would recommend anyone currently teamless for the Wednesday series to look him up. He's a really good driver. Oh, someone in the pit lane.
That's kind of an interesting choice.
Interesting choice.
Who's my dad with?
Your dad is part of Project Zora with Simeon Naku and Leonard Burke.
That's Martin Edmonds.
Yes.
We called it Martin Edmonds.
Martin going with the red sidewalls, I would hope.
Well, he's got a lap and a half.
His goal has got to be to hunt down Daniel Hernandez, who, by the way, top 5 for the Academy driver. Forgot him when we were listing Academy drivers earlier.
I can't see it happening for Martin. He's got like a lap and a half, like I said.
2 laps.
Yeah, to make up that. Well, depending on where the leaders finished.
Christoph off and Max Simons to lead.
Wow,
I was right.
Yeah.
Simons into the corkscrew. He'll have maybe 2 laps to hang on to this lead. Maybe 1.
I think it'll be 2 laps. He can't stall long enough to make it. Sorry, did I say 1? I meant to say 2.
Let's see here.
No, he's got this. It's got to be 2 laps.
Yeah, he's got to cut off like 7 seconds here, and I don't think he's going to. Well, actually, we don't know what lap times they're posting right now.
Well,
we know that they can do 107s, but can they do 107s on bad tires?
If he holds up, if he just dawdles a little bit, enough to not let Christoph get by, he could seal this in 1 lap, which I think would greatly benefit him. But it's a risky strategy to be sure. Verstappen again dipping 2 wheels off. He's kicking himself a little bit. You can tell he wants that back.
Well, you can tell the car language. This is an angry drive now from Christoph.
Yeah, and that's
all right. So this is his section,
good, but also potentially dangerous.
So we've said it that the second sector is his spot. Let's see if he can get it close.
Yeah, he's closing in certainly.
I think Max made a mistake.
No.
Oh no, Max!
Oh, Christoph.
Max made a mistake in the second part of the corkscrew there. This could be going to the line.
Christoph making a mistake.
Christoph getting a little bit oversteer there, a little snap of the wheel. Could be the last lap.
It is. I think it is.
I think it is the last lap. We got zeros on the board and across the line.
Oh, yes.
It is Max Simons. Christoph was red wall side tires as well. Okay. Molly on the red walls as well.
That was exciting. I don't think I've ever been more on the edge of my seat, literally.
I think Moly, the last place car on the lead lap, had a pretty uneventful run to what is going to be a podium, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's not within, no one's within striking distance of him, so I think that he can just kind of coast around.
I thought I saw him on primes after his second stops. I wonder if he did a third pit stop to pick up those red sidewalls.
Probably got bored. It's like, screw this. I want to get the fun tires.
I guess.
I'm just joking.
Hey, you know what? Any little bit of data helps.
Gotta say, while the newer Dallara Indy cars are gorgeous, I gotta say I'm a big fan of the older DW12s like these ones we're seeing here. I love the crazy extra aero they got on there that maybe or maybe not actually helps anything, but to me it just looks badass.
All right, there are your final results. 9 cars made it to the end of the race. Max Simons, I want to say that's his first ESR main series victory, actually.
What a race for Max Simmons.
Christoph Verstappen, Moly Moly, John Barker. Big day for Academy driver Daniel Hernandez in 5th place, ahead of Martin Edmonds,
What a
Javier
race.
Perez Torres, Zach Hemstrom, and Wayne Hutchinson.
That was
What
astounding.
a race.
So I guess we had a lot of pit stops we were talking about there. So let's pull up the log file here, which I was intentionally avoiding so I'd be surprised by everything.
Can I just say my butthole is clenched and my nipples are engaged?
Quick
TMI.
Just enough eye.
rundown of the standings. Leading the way is Mike Stockmill still. Martin Edmonds in 2nd, Wayne Hutchinson 3rd, Moly Moly, Christoph Verstappen, John Barker, Daniel Hernandez, Javier Perez Torres, Ricky Spanish, Enrique Hernandez, and Zach Hemstrom round off the top 10. That was actually Wayne Hutchinson's Max Simons' first score of the series. He had 3
Really?
DNFs up until this point.
What a way to quote start unquote because
And
man,
did not
that was exciting.
he did not participate at Mid Ohio, so big one there.
It just goes to say that consistency can pay off more than pure outright speed sometimes.
Indeed.
Granted, there's definitely an advantage to go fast, but
Also looks like Team Code Brown, which is the UPS crew, took over the lead from Team Freedom, which is Cobalt. And we're not going to really talk about Team Overrev.
well, actually looking at it, Cobalt actually lost less cars this race than UPS did. They only lost 2 cars. That's
Yeah, but
James
UPS
Butler
had a
for John
lot
Butler.
of UPS had a lot of cars. They had Max Simon, Zach Hemstrom was here.
I mean Julio.
They had Daniel Hernandez, Javier Perez Torres, Robert Waddell, Steve Carman, Luciano Echazo. So you had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. 7 cars. 7 UPS
That's
cars.
true.
Team Freedom, conversely, had Martin Edmonds,
Only 5.
Enrique Hervas, John Barker, James Butler, and Christopher Streppen. So yeah, only 5, and then 1 black car. All right, so we were going to get the answers on the pit stops that we were talking about. So let's have a look. Statistics, progress of lap time, race.
You are pardoned, sir.
Pit in. Here we go. Okay, so sort by driver. Zach Hemstrom made 5 pit stops. I believe one of those was a drive-through, though. And I believe one of those was for damage.
One was damaged. That was early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he pitted on lap 1. I'm going to bet that was for damage.
Yeah.
Wayne Hutchinson made 3 stops, so that would be 2 real ones and a drive-through. And then we had 2 for Robert Waddell. Moly Moly only made 2, so he did not make the 3rd stop like I thought he did. He must have gone alternates for his final stint.
So his second pit stop had to have been switching to alternates.
Indeed.
So he made a really long paced run, or a really long length run on one of those.
So let's see here. His first pit stop was on lap 19. His second on lap 39. So he did 12 laps on the alternate tires.
Yikes.
Max Simmons made 2 stops. Martin Edmonds did 3 stop it. Interesting note. John Barker only made 1 stop? That's crazy.
Really?
It's
Wow.
insane.
CEO of stops.
John Barker did not pit until lap 35.
Wow. Shout out to John Barker. That's amazing.
I did say 1 stop.
Well, you said it for Wayne, not
You
Barker.
say for Wayne Hutchinson, yeah.
Still, somebody did it.
GTFO.
Javier Perez Torres did 3. I believe one of those was for a replacement wing, though, not for fuel. James Butler did 3 stops. Daniel Hernandez 2. Christopher Streppen apparently only did 1. That can't be correct. Cannot be.
Maybe John Barker's was off too.
Yeah, I'm getting a reading here that Verstappen only made 1 pit stop. And it was on lap 37.
Huh?
So,
Well, that could be possible.
Possible that 2 drivers went on a 1-stopper here.
Although,
for
if that's true, then it goes to show that the getting the extra time out wasn't really worth it because he didn't really make up any extra room on next innings.
I was gonna say that like for John Barker, it may have made sense. He picked up a fourth place there. That maybe he would not have otherwise got because I know he was battling hard with Martin Edmonds, but Martin made 3 stops, so I don't know, 50-50 on whether it was a good idea for Barker. For Verstappen, I just don't really understand why you would do a one-stopper because... And again, this is assuming that the log file is correct here. It does seem a bit weird. I almost am entirely certain I saw Christoph in the pits twice. But it's a bit weird because when you're leading and by as much as he was, I don't know why you would go alt strategy. I don't know. I feel like that's almost a keep it simple, stupid moment, really.
Well, I mean, I can kind of see the logic, like you said, Laguna Seca, very stressful, very long pit, you have ample opportunities to make mistakes. So it's easy to see a driver wanting to avoid doing that as much as possible. And, like I said, very long, very complicated. But with the tires being so terrible in these Indy cars,
also doesn't really it also really doesn't drive with how Christoph likes to drive his car, because of course we were talking about how he likes to push 100% all the time.
I was just going to segue into that because you would think that Christoph would benefit most from having fresh tires because of how hard he likes to push. Obviously, we can't tell from this data alone.
Can't tell if we're correct. I know the log file has been incorrect in the past. I've given people credit or non-credit, depending how you want to look at it, for interesting strategy calls, only for them to tell me that I was actually incorrect on the matter. So it is possible we're wrong, but it looks like John and Christoph did do single stop strats, which I didn't really think would be possible.
Well,
John, John doesn't surprise me a ton. He's a very smooth driver. Possibly, actually, the reverse side of the coin of what we were talking about with Christoph is John maybe needs to push. John needs to find 100% a bit more of the time, perhaps.
Although in this case, it worked out for him.
It worked out for him. Picked up a 4th place, and he's a Div 2 driver, so beating some Div 1s and being top man in Div 2, can't complain. Actually, and we'll just quickly give the divisional standings here before we call it a night. So in Division 2, John Barker leading the way from Javier Perez-Torres, Zach Hemstrom, James Butler, and Steve Carman. And in Division 3, there are only 5 of them, so the top 5 is all 5. Daniel Hernandez, Douglas DeGroat, Andy Unayaki, John Picha, and Robert Waddell. So, gentlemen, do you have anything you want to add as we finish up here? Talk about your future your future commentary jobs, what you've done so far, etc. Because of course, you guys are the voices of the ESR ACC series.
That's right.
That's correct.
So, for anyone who hasn't seen
are we still recording?
We're still recording, yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Matt. We're professionals.
I'm not.
No. Okay, fair enough. For anyone who hasn't seen the most recent race it was Hungaroring. Very good race. We had a number of new names, which we mentioned earlier, and highly recommend it.
Half the field's Academy drivers, I think.
Is our next race Imola? No, that's a 3D speed.
It will be Spa-Francorchamps, I believe, for ACC.
Spa-Francorchamps.
I think
in 2 weeks' time.
I think I'm actually gonna give Ziggy the boot on that one and say, no, I'm driving. It's Spa. It's mine.
It's mine.
It'll be interesting to see you there.
Also, admittedly, Ziggy has computer problems right now, so he may not even be able to race if he wants to.
That would make sense why he wasn't there yesterday.
Yeah, he had announced. It looks like his graphics card has decided to back out of the deal with him. So,
it's decided it had enough. It doesn't want it anymore.
The defecation has hit the oscillation.
Admittedly, it was an old graphics card. It's not terribly surprising that it went. It's actually like I have a 1050 in my racing rig, which I'm looking at an upgrade, looking to put my tax refund to something completely logical and build a new race rig.
I'm getting a 2070 Super.
I am actually looking at the same. Looking at the same. The 27, 20.
The best one,
If
go for
there's
if you
any-
want to get the best one, go for the Gigabyte, the 3-fan one, because although the ROG one is there, it's like $100 for like 15 megahertz or something like that.
It's gonna depend on what the tax refund looks like. It's gonna depend on what some other things I gotta do look like. I got family. I've got the we'll go with girlfriend, though it's complex.
Oh.
Oh, you and Matt are going out. Oh, that's cute.
No.
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 Matt is not my type.
I'd call him your girlfriend.
What?
I
What?
mean, if we were dating, he'd be the girlfriend. I assure you.
It's true.
I would make him my bitch.
Did you just hear him say that? Bitch.
Sir, which one of us has had professional fighting experience? I believe that is me and not you. So I think I would.
So why are you saying girls cannot have professional
can we
fighting
fight
experience?
I'm just saying, in the traditional roles of a relationship, you would be the bottom.
If you told me, Matt, if you told me that
It's
you were
2020
doing
though.
fights, I would have said, oh yeah, pillow fights, right?
No, I've actually been in fights, but it was hockey, so.
Oh,
Yeah, we are Canadians. Almost everyone's been in a hockey fight.
yeah, that's a good point. I went to a fight one time and a hockey game broke out.
Indeed.
What?
Indeed.
That sounds so Canadian.
It
I went to this fight down by the mall and a hockey game broke out.
was
there-
totally
there
it was
is-
total
there-
mania, eh?
There is a reason that every high school schoolyard fight involves grabbing the guy's hoodie and fucking roundhousing like it's a hockey fight, which is actually really terrible, and it's how I won every fight in high school. But anyways,
Nice.
remote intelligence and realizing, hey, I could just leg sweep you right now, and this is not going to end well for you.
Welcome to Stories with ESR.
Yes.
Indeed.
We're truly the next Mr. Rogers.
All right, do we have anything else we want to bring up about ESR before we sign off here?
Not at all. I think we're
Oh,
good.
I'm not. Cole's gonna need a partner for an ACC race in March. I'm not sure what time, what day, because I'm going home and I will not be able to comment because I will be
Oh.
racing.
I can
Oh.
indeed do commentary solo. It's obviously better if I have more people, but yeah, if we have any co-commentators that want to contribute, send them my way. I guess we already are on the same thing.
I
Anyway.
know Justin Kratz was interested in getting involved, so that might be a chance to get him involved once again. He has done a couple. Anyways, just a quick rundown of what we got coming up here. ESR DTM 92 from Red Bull Ring on Tuesday. That's gonna be fun.
That's
We got-
tomorrow.
We got the Wednesday series 3D Speed hitting to Imola for the first of our 2 Italian
Imola.
rounds.
Imola.
Thursday, we've got the ESR F1 91 Championship from
Yes.
Watkins Glen.
That's gonna be a funny race.
And we have on Saturday the Academy back at it at Suzuka West for 3 15-minute races on the longer part of the Suzuka track. Looking forward to seeing Jack Simpson, Zach Hemstrom, Rochelle Guerin and company take to the track once again. We've got ESR, we got the Formula USA race later that day at Lausitz, which is going to be really fun. And then we've got on Sunday, oh wait, that's just a practice round. And that's a practice round too. Okay, so that is it for what's coming up.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Indeed.
Sounds like a
And,
plan, Stan.
Future plans, we're working on what the next Saturday series is going to be. If you've not voted on that and you intend to take part, please do. Check out the announcements on our Discord server. And there is going to be shortly a ACC feedback form that I'm going to throw up.
Please don't throw up.
I love how you put out an ACC vid on how to take a mandatory pit stop.
It was a problem, but you know what? Hey, no one got black flagged after I put that up.
Hey.
So, probably
Well, Cole did.
probably had nothing to do with my
No, it
video,
did
but I'm
not.
taking credit.
Cole didn't take a second pit stop.
True. We are going to look into why you had to join the server like that, because that is not supposed to happen, because you are taking up a spot on the server when that happens, which is not great. So hopefully we can fix that out. And yeah, so that is pretty much everything that's coming up. We've got the ACC feedback form. We've got the feedback form for Saturday. So check those out.
Have you tried the new tracks?
I went around Kalami, which is the one I was very excited about because, of course, that's not in. I don't think that in its current form is actually in any racing sim. I could be wrong on that. Not
I watched
officially,
the
anyways.
race, but I
I'm
like the track. So I thought it looked kind of. I couldn't wait for it to come out. So I'm like, hey, this is gonna be looks fun to drive.
like I'm sure there's some R Factor 2 mod for it or something, or a set of Corsa.
I think there's an
AC.
AC. There's a first AC mod for it.
But I do believe this is the first game to officially have it in it, so that's going to be really cool. They also added Suzuka, Laguna Seca, and of course Bathurst, which are not unique. I mean, they're in a number of sims, but still very cool tracks, very cool visuals. That'll be really, really fun.
Watching a car going around Bathurst and ACC gives me anxiety.
I mean, that's the case in
Why?
any sim, let's be
Yeah, I was
honest.
gonna say, what makes ACC special in that regard?
Because ACC is life.
It's a really good game.
Okay.
I understand some people's objections to it. There are still some VR problems with it. There is the fact that it's a single a single kind of series game, which is going to turn some people off because they like to get more cars into it. I know that's why my friend Matt refuses to play it. I'm trying to get him to play.
And not to say that their interface is total hot dog shit.
You know what? I don't mind it, to be honest.
It's not
I
bad.
really don't.
The
That's just
aesthetic
cool.
the aesthetic is fine, but there's no functionality to it, especially like the server browser and stuff. Ugh, it's terrible.
Oh yeah, no, the server browser will give you that one's
The settings
that
menu.
one's-
Especially when
not
you
great.
try to search for a server, like you click on the thing, like the search bar, and then you go to type, and then your thing will not be there when you go to type. So then you have to click on it again.
Yeah.
And it's just confusing
There
sometimes.
are some downsides, but there's some downsides to any racing sim. There is no perfect one. Otherwise,
Well,
one would just
also-
dominate the world.
Oh, yeah, also, it's like if they anyway, I won't talk anymore about that.
Yeah,
but-
cool. Shut up.
You shut up, Mom. Anyhow, think we're all out of stuff to talk about for this here podcast.
Yep, I think that'll be good enough. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Yep, I don't have anything else to add. If you want to contact me about my new rig and make recommendations, I will always accept that.
What motherboard are you looking at?
The motherboard is never something I pick.
Ah.
The motherboard is always, I have these things. What motherboard is going to allow me to use these things?
A Z390,
I
those are
don't mean
pretty
to-
decent.
I don't mean
Not
to
too
rush you
much.
boys, but I really have to use the bathroom. Can we wrap this up a little bit?
All right.
Nah, let's keep going.
That's
Okay,
for Matt.
well, I'm
for
gonna
Matt,
check out regardless.
For Matt Hat Higgs, Cole McRae, I'm Mike Magus. This was the 3D, or not the 3D speed, the ESR Laguna Seca Formula USA round. Have a good day, everybody. And
Thanks for
congratulations,
Goodbye.
and congratulations to Max Simmons for what I believe was his first ESR victory. Actually, I
Hey.
should click on him real quick and just make sure that's the case before we sign off. Max, where are you? Max. I have looked through his oh no, it was not. He won one of the ESR 92 races as well. So,
Very nice.
second victory.
Okay. Well,